And what I can tell you today, everything we promised, we've not only delivered, but we've over-delivered on all those promises. Across all those different subject matters, we were able to get it done. Billions and billions of dollars more than has ever been done to do these really significant projects. You look at things like the C-43 reservoir, the C-44 reservoir on either side of Lake Okeechobee. Now, when you have water, they can clean it and then send it. And then people don't care. Once it's clean, it's fine. It doesn't create the same issues. We're also working on ways to, make sure the water that goes into the lake from Central Florida is a little cleaner, because there's a lot of runoff that takes place. Working on cleaning up the lake more and more that's in there. So there's a whole host of things that have been done and are continued to be able to do. But we have, since I've been governor, funded almost 1,200 projects across the state to reduce harmful nutrients in Florida's waterways. So that will cut an estimated almost 5 million pounds of nitrogen and almost 1 million pounds of phosphorus each and every year with those programs. So 300 of those are already complete and producing really measurable results. And so we're happy with what we've been able to do with Everglades. We do have an agreement with the Trump administration where they've delegated, because it's supposed to be state, federal, we each have our roles. Most of the states don't do their fair share, and then they expect the Fed. We're the opposite. We did our share and then some, and then we tried to get Biden to step into the game here, and he didn't do it. And so we worked with the president and his administration on saying, okay, you guys are behind. Florida works quicker. Send us the money, and we'll do some of these projects. So you now have, we have 2 major Everglades projects that we started that would not have probably started for this decade had we not done it. And we're working alongside the federal government on those. And so that's a really good story we're able to do. And that whole thing with the Everglades, 5 years now, we're going to be able to finish it earlier, 5 years earlier than what the estimated date was when Biden left office, which is really, really positive, and it's a great story for everyone. So we've been able to do billions and billions for clean water, water resources, which is really important. We've also put about $300 million towards developing alternative water supply sources, and that's about 540 million gallons per day of additional supply. Today, we will build off that initiative. So I get the ability to do grants, and a lot of times it's working with local communities to create good infrastructure so that you're able to develop really great things with respect to water supply. So I'm pleased to be here today to announce that we're going to be continuing to put our money where our mouth is. We're going to be awarding over $112 million in grants to improve water quality and supply across Florida's Gulf Coast and throughout Central Florida. So 50 million of that will be in 14 different alternative water supply grants, and this includes St. Johns River, Swanee River, Northwest Florida Water Management Districts, Polk Regional Water Cooperative, Toho Water Authority in Osceola County, cities of Cape Coral, Winter Haven, Live Oak. Once fully operational, these projects are expected to produce almost 94 million gallons of water per day. So that's a really significant thing. The population here has grown. I'm not asking anybody to move. I've never asked for anybody to move here, to be honest with you, if you go back. In fact, during COVID, they were like, oh, man, it's just like, do you want to go on, like, business recruiting trips? Because I did do that my first year a little bit. And I'm like, no, because they were calling me asking if they could, it's like, hey, I wanted you to know we're coming. I'm like, great, whatever. And so I haven't done that, but yet, people are gonna see greener pastures in some of these areas. And I've met people from just about every state, but certainly some of kind of the worst offenders, the Pacific Coast states, huge problems. Washington, Oregon that I hear about with people leaving Portland and Seattle and some of this stuff. Obviously, Northeast has been a problem and will continue likely to be a problem in New York City going forward. Chicago, huge problem. So we see all that. But the reality is it is what it is, right? I mean, like if we need to make sure we have strong water supply, we're going to do it. So that 94 million gallons is really good. You know, interestingly, you know, they in some of the parts of the country, they're building these like massive hyperscale data centers. They take like 1 million gallons of water a day, massive amounts of water that's doing. You know, we obviously want our water to be for the general public and not to be bogarted in that way. And we'll have more to say on that in the coming days. We also are going to do 50 million for 23 projects aimed at protecting Florida's pristine, natural, freshwater springs. And we have the best springs of anywhere in the country. Obviously, people know Crystal River, Inverness, Oakland, Williston, Archer counties, Hernando, Citrus, Levy, Jackson, and Leon counties. And the spring sheds and water quality through wastewater upgrades will be improved. There'll also be other enhancements. It's going to reduce nitrogen just in those grants by 100,000 pounds per year in those springs, and that's a really, really big deal. These efforts will help communities connect septic systems to sewer lines, among other water quality improvement efforts. You know, just, again, keep the water clean, make it cleaner, make it healthier. So this will bring us to $430 million for 147 different springs restoration projects since I took office. That's major momentum. And then the final thing is 12 million is being awarded to our state universities and counties to drive innovative technology to fight harmful algal blooms. 16 projects will be funded, including here in Tampa at the University of South Florida, also University of Florida and IFAS, University of Miami, Florida International University, and Florida Atlantic University, as well as Polk and Seminole counties. The Innovative Technology for Harmful Algal Blooms grant was established during my first year as governor, following recommendations from our Blue-Green Algae Task Force to invest in a diverse portfolio of technology so that we could tackle these harmful algal blooms. Since then, we've received $75 million in appropriations and have supported 68 projects that detect, prevent, clean up, and mitigate harmful algal blooms. Like our investments in Everglades restoration, we believe that reducing circumstances for harmful algal blooms along Florida's coast are very, very important, and we want to tackle that head on. So all of this stuff is really going to make a difference. And you know, it's interesting. We're going through our budget recommendations. So I'm going to do the budget announcement pretty soon. And, you know, you go through everything, you know, and it's interesting. Florida, you know, we've done very well with handling budget. Our budget, even though we have millions of more people than New York, our budget's less than half of New York's budget. But yet, you know, we have better roads, better services, better public university system, all these other things. Actually, New York City's budget is more than the budget of the entire state of Florida, and they only have 8 million people. And that's even before the deficit balloons when this guy takes over the grocery stores. I mean, can you imagine what's going to happen with that? So we, from a spending level, we're either the first or second lowest per capita state spending in the entire United States of America. And so that's our number of state employees per capita is the lowest of anybody in the United States of America. We have one of the lowest, if not the lowest, state tax burden. We're always in the top 2 or 3 on that of anywhere in the United States. And then our debt, since I became governor, by the end of this fiscal year, you take all Florida's taxpayer-supported debt since it's been a state, we will have retired more than 50% of it just in my tenure as governor. And so that's a really big deal. And then we now have the lowest per capita debt in the country. I think your share as a Floridian would be about $450. Your share as an American of the federal debt, I think, would be about 110 grand, a lot. So we've done really well on all that, but you know, we have done big things. I mean, we've accelerated infrastructure projects by billions and billions of dollars. Things like moving Florida forward, which, you know, we just did the well, the Howard Franklin was not moving forward, but then the 275 in Pinellas leading into that is moving. We're doing that much ahead of schedule. Doing a lot in Central Florida, Polk County. We're doing amazing stuff, and they need it because you have traffic. So we're doing all that, but that was massive investment. We've done massive investment in education, universities to keep tuition low, K-12 teacher pay increases. They just did a thing in Lee County. It was incentive pay for teachers, and the school union was fighting it. And I'm just like, why would you oppose positive incentive pay for? But it's just, this is what we deal with. So, but we've put in more money at the state level for teacher salaries than has ever been done in the history of the state of Florida. We've also done major tax cuts. We did our accelerated debt repayment. So we've done a lot of stuff. But we're not like, trying to socially engineer. We're just doing what I think the public thinks is good stuff, right? That benefits people. And then, of course, the environment that I talked to you about. We promised $1 billion more in my first 4 years than had been done previous, and we did way more than that, and then we've done way more in second term. We're blowing away what Florida used to do on all this stuff, and it is making a really big difference, and we're happy to do that. But the interesting thing is, as we're going through the budget, I'm looking at this, we put major investments. We definitely see where we're going to be in a position where we're not going to have to spend as much on some of this stuff, because we will have put the infrastructure in. There'll be operations and maintenance for sure, and there'll be some expenses, but we've basically done the heavy lifting already. And so, this budget, certainly future budgets that are done, are not going to have the level of commitment that we've had, because we've actually succeeded in getting the job done. And I think that's really, really good. I mean, do it, get it done, and then not make it just be something that you're spending just to spend. No, we're doing this because we think it's important. We think it's important for quality of life. We think it's important for the economy, and we're going to keep doing that going forward. So I want to thank everybody that's been involved with this. I'm excited about it. I know we've got some more grants we're going to be doing in some sensitive parts of Florida that I know people are going to get excited about, so we'll be doing that pretty soon. In the meantime, we have some folks that are going to come up and speak, so we'll start with Alexis Lambert.